Let me ask you something that most doctors won't bring up at a regular checkup. What if the very first sign that your memory is starting to slip isn't forgetting a name, or losing your keys, or blanking on a word mid-sentence? What if it's something so quiet, so ordinary, that you've already stopped noticing it's gone? A new study out of Harvard Medical School found that sensory loss, specifically the gradual dulling of your sense of smell, is one of the earliest and most overlooked warning signs of cognitive decline, and most people dismiss it completely. If you've noticed that food doesn't taste quite the way it used to, or that you can't quite catch a scent the way you once did, stay with me, because what I'm about to share could genuinely change how you protect your brain for the years ahead. And before we go any further, if this is your first time here, consider subscribing right now, because what comes next in this video is something most health channels never talk about, and you don't want to miss a single part of it. I'm Dr. Jack Foster, and I've spent over 2 decades working with patients in internal medicine and preventive health. I've sat across from hundreds of men and women in their 60s, 70s, and 80s who came to me worried about their memory, and almost every single one of them told me the same thing. They didn't see it coming. They thought they were fine. They thought the little things were just aging. And that's exactly what I want to talk to you about today, because the little things are never just aging. They are signals. And when you know how to read them, you take back control. So let's start with something that might already be happening to you right now. Think back to the last time you walked into your kitchen and smelled coffee brewing, or caught the scent of rain before a storm, or noticed the fragrance of flowers in your garden. If you're struggling to remember a recent moment like that, or if those smells just don't register the way they once did, please pay close attention. Research published in the journal Annals of Internal Medicine followed over 3,000 adults for 5 years and found that those with significant smell loss were far more likely to show early markers of cognitive decline. The olfactory nerve, which is the nerve responsible for your sense of smell, connects directly to the hippocampus and the entorhinal cortex, which are 2 of the most critical memory centers in your brain. When that nerve starts to degrade, it's often the first physical sign that something is changing in the brain's architecture. I had a patient, I'll call her Margaret, who was 71 years old and came to me for her annual physical. Sharp woman, retired school teacher. She laughed when I asked if she'd noticed any changes in her sense of smell. She said, "Dr. Foster, I haven't smelled my husband's cologne in 2 years, but honestly, I thought that was a blessing." We laughed together, but when we dug deeper, she realized she also couldn't smell smoke from the neighbor's backyard, hadn't tasted her favorite apple pie in a way that felt satisfying, and had slowly stopped cooking elaborate meals because nothing smelled appetizing anymore. She thought it was just getting older. It wasn't just getting older. Now here's what most people don't know. Smell loss is only one piece of this picture, and this is where things get really serious. There are other quiet, sneaky changes happening in your daily life that your brain is broadcasting loud and clear, and most of us are tuned to a completely different channel. One of the biggest ones is sleep disruption, not the kind where you toss and turn and know you didn't sleep well. I'm talking about the subtle kind, waking up at 3 in the morning and not knowing why, feeling tired even after what seemed like a full night, needing a nap by early afternoon. The National Institute on Aging has documented a strong connection between disrupted sleep architecture, specifically the loss of deep slow-wave sleep, and the accelerated buildup of amyloid plaques in the brain. These plaques are the same ones associated with Alzheimer's disease. Your brain actually cleans itself during deep sleep. It's like a nightly rinse cycle. When that cycle gets interrupted night after night, the waste builds up. And over months and years, that buildup starts to affect how clearly you think, how quickly you recall information, and how well you concentrate. If you're watching this right now and thinking, "Yes, that sounds like me," I want you to type the word "yes" in the comments below, even just that one word, because I want you to know that you are not alone in this, and recognizing it is the first and most powerful step. Now, let me tell you what I see most often in people who are in their early stages of cognitive decline that gets missed, not just by patients, but by their families too. It's the withdrawal from complexity. What I mean by that is this. People stop doing things that require mental effort, not because they decide to, but because those things quietly become less enjoyable. A person who used to love doing crossword puzzles starts leaving them unfinished. Someone who managed the household finances for 40 years suddenly prefers to let someone else handle it. A social, outgoing person starts finding gatherings overwhelming and makes excuses to stay home. These are not personality changes. These are not laziness. These are the brain's way of protecting itself from situations where it knows it might struggle. And when families miss this pattern, months and sometimes years go by before anyone connects the dots. What I'm about to tell you might surprise you. These changes are not inevitable. They are not a guaranteed part of getting older. And there are real, research-backed things you can do starting today to slow or even reverse some of this trajectory. The brain has a remarkable quality called neuroplasticity, which simply means it can grow new connections at almost any age when given the right conditions. Think of your brain like a garden. If you stop watering it, stop tending it, the weeds take over. But if you give it the right nutrients, the right environment, it will keep producing. Here is one practical self-check you can do right now, at home, today. It's called the smell test, and it takes about 2 minutes. Go to your kitchen and find 5 common items with distinct smells. Coffee grounds, a lemon, cinnamon, peanut butter, and a bar of soap. Close your eyes. Hold each one about an inch from your nose. Take a slow breath. Can you identify each one quickly and clearly? Do they smell strong and vivid the way you remember them? Or do some of them seem faded, muted, or hard to place? If 2 or more of those scents seem significantly weaker than they should be, that is worth a conversation with your doctor, not to panic, not to catastrophize, but to open a dialogue early, when early action matters most. Now I want to be transparent with you, because that's what I believe you deserve. This video is meant to educate and inform, not to replace the advice of your personal physician. Every brain is different. Every body is different. Please use what you learn here as a starting point for those important conversations with your healthcare provider. But here is what I can tell you from everything I have studied and from every patient I have sat with over these decades. The people who do best are not the ones who wait for a crisis. They are the ones who pay attention to the quiet signals. They are the ones who take seriously the things that feel too small to mention. They are the people who say, wait a minute, something has changed and I want to understand what it means. You are that kind of person. The fact that you're here, watching this, thinking about these things, tells me that. And that matters more than you know. Here is something I want you to carry with you after this video ends. Your brain is always talking to you. The question is whether you are listening. Memory does not disappear overnight. It retreats slowly, step by step, through signals that most people stop noticing. But now you know what to look for. Now you know that a fading sense of smell, fragmented sleep, and quiet withdrawal from complexity are not just quirks of aging. They are conversations your brain is trying to have with you. The moment you start paying attention is the moment everything can begin to change. If this video gave you something valuable today, please give it a like. It tells me that this kind of honest, practical health information matters to you, and it helps this channel reach the people who need it most. Subscribe if you haven't already, because every week I bring you information like this that your health genuinely depends on. Leave a comment below, even if it's just the word yes, because knowing you're out there and taking this seriously means everything to me. And please share this with someone you love, a spouse, a sibling, a friend, someone who might be experiencing these same quiet changes and doesn't yet have the language for what they're feeling. You might be giving them something more valuable than you realize. I'm Dr. Jack Foster. Thank you for being here. I'll see you in the next one.